And we are in. There we go. Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Now I'm sat in the car because my mate is coming up from Plymouth and I'm about to go and pick him up from the coach station and then straight on to the lake for 3 days. Surely we've got to get a carp in 3 days, eh? Well, you never know with this channel. Let's go. There he is. Yeah, baby. Carp Central.
6-hour coach journey. We reached London. Oi, oi. About 6 hours to get out of the car park with Gary's driving. Let's bring it on.
So we've arrived. We're all ready to go, baited up. Steve's on bottom baits, I'm on pop-up, so we've got all bases covered. Let's have a look. Just out there, about halfway, it's a nice gravel bar we found. Couldn't have gone any better up until now. Let's just hope the good luck carries on. We have got 4 rods out along the gravel bar, which is about halfway out the lake, and Steve's got 1 over in that carpy looking corner over there. Now, usually, as you know, I only fish with 1 or 2 rods. We've got 5 rods out today, so surely, statistically, we've got to catch something in 3 days. Click that like button. That's what we've got to do. Every like equals a fish. And we are in. Yeah, baby.
I don't think it's a bream.
See, both times I've brought friends and it saved the video. I need to do this more often. I need to make more friends.
So that rod's been out for what? 20 minutes?
Yeah.
So this could be a good sign of things to come. It'll pop off now, won't it?
Oh, don't say that.
That's what happens.
And it is a massive eel. That is massive, Steve. That is a specimen eel, mate. That's the biggest eel I've ever seen. Oh, he's too wriggly, mate.
Get under it, Gary.
There we go, he's in.
As Matt Hayes says, Anguilla, Anguilla.
Oh my lord, that is a hench eel. Now, it's not what we came for, but that is a specimen eel. Should we weigh it?
No.
No, just get him back.
I'm covered in slime.
Now, although it wasn't what we came for, that fish really set the tone for the rest of the session. We were both really excited, as you can see, and it gave us a chance to just sort of sit back, relax, grab some food, and just have a really good catch up. Lights dropping now. We had that eel earlier, nothing since, but the weather's coming in a little bit. Oh, as I speak. Now that would be perfect timing. Well, it hasn't happened yet.
No, but it's picked up and the wind.
Could be the wind. As I was saying, weather's coming in a little bit. Think it's going to be a bit of a wet night, but we've got a bivvy up, so it's not a drama. Got loads of bait over the rods. Fingers crossed it's a busy night. Oh, 2:30 in the morning. One of the rods has just screamed off. It was a bream and it came off. So, in typical Gary fashion, popped to McDonald's to get us some dinner and use the facilities. And Steve's had a fish. Missed the alarm, I missed the excitement, but we got a fish in the net. Buzzing. Let's have a look. Pristine common. He's a chunk as well, mate.
Literally centred, I don't know.
And back he goes. Go and tell your dad. Back into the deep. Now at this point, as you can see, Steve thought it would be a good idea to sort of say something funny and witty for the camera. Unfortunately, it was just so incredibly boring that for the good of the channel and for Steve's own embarrassment, I've had to mute the audio on this bit, unfortunately. Sorry about that, Steve. It was the thought that counts.
In your dreams.
We're fishing, baby. Well,
Mate.
just woke up, sat in the bivvy, having my morning brew, and we have just been dive bombed by a swan all over the roof of the bivvy on my bed. Oh. I'm gonna have to get Steve to clean that up, and I. Now, as you can imagine, I wasn't too happy about that incident with the swan pooing all over my bivvy first thing in the morning, but must have been good luck, because as soon as that happened, this happened. So, nice little wake-up call at 4 o'clock this morning. Lovely little common from the London docks. My first urban carp on the channel. Absolutely buzzing. It's not the biggest fish in the world, but it's absolutely pristine. Buzzing, that's what it's all about. Those urban carp. So that rod ripped off in the morning in the margin, but there isn't any more room in the margin for any more rods. So the ones that we've got out in the middle of the lake haven't gone off at all. So we're deciding to change tactic with those. What I'm going to do is so we are at that end of the lake. I'm going to use Steve's boat, hopefully, and put a bait on the end of that concrete block. I'm just going to walk over there now. And what I'm going to do is I've got a rod with just a bare lead on it there, and I'm going to drop that down and just feel what the bottom's actually like there. If it's nice and solid, then I'll boat out a rig out to there and hopefully have a little bit of luck from there. Just coming up to it now. So, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but over in that corner, just tucked away on the left hand side, is where our bivvy, our tent is. And I'm hoping to boat it across from there down to here. Just going to have, as I said before, have a feel about, see how the bottom feels before I risk it. What a beautiful lake this is, eh? What a location. That's feeling good. It's nice and solid on the bottom there, so I can definitely present a rig on that, and I'm hopeful for a fish there. Put some bait over the top of it, we should be good to go. Let's do it. What I've neglected to do so far, as Steve's just reminded me, is show you the actual rigs that I'm using. So what I'm going to show you is the rig that I'm going to be catching on later on. So what we've got is the hook end. It's just a standard hair rig. Really bad shot of that. Standard hair rig, and it's quite short. I'll show you why that is in a minute. With a 3-ounce weight on a running lead system, well, a lead clip system. So that lead's designed so that if a fish was to get snagged and I was to lose the fish, that lead will come off, so the fish isn't dragging it around with it. People who carp fish will already know what a PVA bag is. If you don't, carry on listening. If you do already know and you're not interested, fast forward to the bit where I'll get the 40 pounder in about 5 minutes. Just fast forward it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some pellets. On this little scoop here, which is especially designed for this job. Now this isn't the ideal way of doing it, but this is the way I'm doing it today. So there you go. People out there who have fished for a long time probably thinking, Jesus. But there you go. So I'm going to put a little bit of pellet in there. Now what I've got is, I've attached a boilie and a piece of fake sweet corn onto the hair which leads off the hook. Like that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do with that is this bag that I showed you earlier. I'm going to drop the bait into that bag. And then I'm going to leave the weight outside for a second. Excuse the state of this table. Making a cup of tea earlier. And as you can see, I haven't tidied away. Right. I'm then going to put a little bit more of this pellet in the bag. Now, if you're really interested in learning how to do this, you don't already know how to do it, I would suggest looking on YouTube, possibly at a guy called Fish with Carp, because he is far better at showing you exactly how to do this from an instructional point of view than I am. What I am then going to do is I'm going to plonk the rest of the rig and the weight into that bag as well, he says. I am making a right mess of this, I admit, but I'm getting the point across. And I'm then going to top that off with a little bit more pellet, like this. As I say, there are far more, well, far easier ways of doing this, but look it up if you're interested. I then I'm going to twist the top of the bag around like so, and then if you lick it, it becomes a little bit sticky. I'm just going to lick it, stick it down onto itself, and I'm then going to take the corners of the bag. I'm just going to push the pellet out of them, just so I can tuck them in properly, make it all nice and neat. Little lick again. That in. Now it's a beautiful package of bait waiting to go. I'm also going to poke some holes in it using my boiling needle, just so that all the air can escape. If we don't do that, sometimes what you can do is you can cast it out and the bag won't sink, it will just sit on the surface and you can see it from a distance, and it's quite frustrating when that happens. So always remember to poke a load of holes in the bag. Quite important. Now, if you haven't seen one of these before, you're probably thinking, but all your bait is sat in that bag, what good is that? Well, what happens is a bit of fishing magic. That hits the surface, sinks down to the bottom. When it hits the bottom, the bag melts into the water, and that then leaves a nice pile of bait with my bait right in the middle of it. Perfect. Now that serves a couple of purposes. One being my bait is sat there with a load of bait around it, which makes it super attractive to the fish. Number two, if you're slightly unsure of what the bottom's like, or if the bottom is a little bit muddy or is a bit weedy, that is covering my rig. So my rig, I know when it hits the bottom and that bag melts, my rig is always fishing. My rig has been protected by that bag until it hits the bottom. So it's not caught up in anything. So it just gives you that little bit of extra confidence. And that is what I'm using today. That is what we're going to catch our big carp on today. So Steve's asleep in the bivvy, having a little nap. It's like 4:30 in the afternoon. I got a bit bored, so I've come for a walk. Let's see if I can see any fish. Right, last night on the lake. So we've got to leave early in the morning because the London Marathon's on, we found out. And I've got to get Steve to Victoria Coach Station, which is right on the main marathon route. So all the roads are going to be closed at some point, so we need to get out of here like 5 in the morning, something like that. So it's not ideal, but got to do what we got to do. Got all the rods in position now for the final night. We've had one every night so far, at least. So fingers crossed. We've got one over in that corner, which looks very carpy. I think you'll agree. Steve's got another one off the tip of that concrete block there. Now the reason he's picked that is because there was a guy the whole time we've been here constantly chucking birdseed over the side. So I would assume the fish are probably getting a bit of that as well. So it could be like a natural spot where they're going to hang around. One still on the gravel bar out in the middle. I've got one on that far concrete block, which we use the boat for, to get it out to there. For the same reason, there was a guy feeding the birds off the side of it constantly the whole time we've been here. So, and then I've got one in that margin, which is where I had the one at 4 o'clock this morning. So we're hopeful. They're all in position. I'm confident that they're all fishing because they're all on hard ground. Fingers crossed for tonight. Hopefully we have a sleepless night. Right guys, that was the last night. We put the rods out quite early during the day and we just left them before we went to bed because we knew that they were fishing effectively on hard ground, and had a couple of little surprises in the night. There's one, and the other one is waiting in the retainer just next to it. 2 fish in the last night for me in that margin spot, and one of them's a nice lump. Possibly my new UK PB. Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing. Look at it. Right, he's not the biggest of the 2, but it might be the prettiest carp I've ever caught. On a sunrise, on an urban lake, I am absolutely buzzing with this. Fully scaled mirror. Yeah, I'll come close and get a little light from you of it. Let's get it back. This one's showing 21 in the retainer, so I'm going to give him about £19, which is my UK PB. Not quite the 20 that I would have loved, but in a location like this, on a morning like this, can't ask for more. Oh, let's get him back. Well, what a session, eh? That's the end of that now. I'm filming the outro at home because we had to get out of central London rapid before the marathon started and all the road closures started, and it would have been a nightmare, so I managed to escape that just by the skin of my teeth. 5 fish, I think, maybe 6. That'll all come out in the editing. I can't even remember, it was such a blur. I'm so tired. But what a session. Seen a friend that I ain't seen in ages, had an absolutely brilliant social session and a load of fish, and finally ticked off that urban carp off the list. Oh, thanks for watching, and as always, like and subscribe.